Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Steel City Resistance. My name is Hutch Jr., and I am located deep down in the bunker in the city of Pittsburgh. And without further ado, let me activate the Southern Command and welcome Mr. J to the program from Orlando, Florida. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Hutch. Thank you. And the Southern Command is armed and activated. All systems go.
Yes, they are. That was a tough timed beginning of the show here today. We just got out of a meeting that ended about 15 minutes ago, but we managed to pull it off here. Uh, hey, I wanted to say something. I was looking at the some different things, and I never mentioned the fact that we're going into our fourth season here at Steel City Resistance. We started the show on December 5th or 6th in 2010 with Ward Miller, and then he had to get out of the business for a while, and he recommended you as a co-host, and it's worked out fine since then. But I just wanted to give ourselves a chance to pat ourselves on the back, and that's a pretty good accomplishment for podcasting.
Absolutely. And thank Ward for all his efforts. He works behind the scenes still, and he's managing the Facebook page. So thank you, Mr. Ward Miller.
Absolutely. Okay, that's not going to work. Um, just trying to get my audio together over here. Like I said, it was a little haphazard getting going here, but you'll have this. Man, I'll tell you what. I guess you're even being affected by this cold weather with all this global warming that's taking place. Apparently, you're getting a little bit nailed with it too.
Yeah, this cold weather blast is turning some heads. They're calling it historic, coldest in 20 years. Some Arctic birds are being seen in Florida.
Jeez.
Frost quakes in Canada. And I got to tell you, freeze warnings, hard freeze warnings are up for Central Florida. And they are calling for a low of around 26. And if that happens, look for higher produce prices, my friends.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of people don't put two and two together, but that's a fact. Um, we've got a really full show for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll say hi to everybody that's in the chat room. Uh, but the only other thing I wanted to cover here at the beginning that's not in the notes really is I mentioned that we just got off a teleconference, and I'd be wrong if I didn't mention Team Ninja and the leaps and bounds that we're making there. I mean, Wayne Dupree has done a heck of a job, and a lot of people behind the scenes as well. But you see a few of us out here, but man, how many people were on that call?
14 maybe? I don't know. It was hard to keep up, but we got a guy who was with Pat Dollard's site. That's pretty cool. I like his site.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting individuals, and I'm looking forward to working with them. Uh, so anyway, I'm not going to start listing them because if I did that, I'd leave somebody out because I don't have all their names yet registered in my hard drive. So anyway, look forward to some fun things going forward, and I think this is going to be a pretty big year. Um, I mean, we're on Constitutional Patriot Radio, Worldwide Media, FTR Radio. Big deal. Looking forward to our meeting. We're having a meeting in a couple weeks here. We're going to iron some things out and get some strategies and tactics down, and it's going to be fun. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take you for a ride. Now, I'll tell you that one of the, and it's true. There's a story out right now. There's a global warming group of people that's on a Russian ship that was going to the Antarctic to document the loss of ice and the lack of any ice in that region. And in the mainstream media, which we are rapidly replacing, uh, they never made mention that it's a global warming expedition. Everybody just thinks it's some ship. I even asked my wife, and she said, "Oh yeah, there's a ship out there with scientists." I didn't know it had anything to do with global warming. And I'll tell you, how about that?
Absolutely. You got to love it. I mean, one ship goes down there to investigate the ice loss of Antarctica. Now, keep in mind, it's summertime in Antarctica, and there's ice everywhere. The place is frozen solid. I mean, and, they get stuck. So another ship comes in. They're going to be the hero and rescue these peaceniks, these greenies down there, and it gets stuck. And now they're looking for the United States Coast Guard to rescue these people and get them the hell out of there. It's kind of funny when you think about it, but boy, what a joke! The Chinese ship, the Snow Dragon, they thought they had this thing covered. They're stuck. You gotta love it. The global warming is a hoax. I think people aren't buying this anymore, and this just proves it. It's just freaking cold everywhere, almost in the country.
And they
You
say,
know,
I mean, there was a good article in the American Thinker about it, about a tipping point on this issue. And I mean, they're predicting 90 years of global cooling, going into a mini ice age. So what I say is, if you're not for fossil fuel, then I think you should keep your house at about 50 degrees for the next 90 years. And for those of us that believe in it and believe it was put there for a reason, uh, I'm keeping my house warm. But anyway, this is the Al Gore's network. He's taken 90% of his full-time staff. I can't remember the acronym of the uh, company or front that he's got, but I mean, he fired a whole bunch of people, and his donations have dried up. This is an embarrassment to the left, and I'm just glad that it's divine intervention. That's what it is. I mean, this is I believe in that. I really do. I believe in divine intervention. There's no way in the world that you can tell me without divine intervention that the United States government wouldn't have been able to develop a website. That's divine intervention. They got the right people. God said, "All right, get this company to work on it." And I'm telling you, there's
it's
some things going on out
whenever you start showing your arrogance, boy, you get knocked right back in your place. And Al Gore's in hibernation right now. He's quiet as a church mouse, but you're right. I mean, they think whenever you think you got all the answers, you know, you just get knocked right back down to where you were before. It's kind of funny to watch.
there. It is. It's great to watch. It's sad to watch all the people that are gullible enough to buy it. I mean, that part's sad, but like the people that live in Illinois and vote for all these Democrats and everything, and think everything's going to be okay, and then they turn around and can't afford their property taxes.
It is funny. And I lived as a youth in Illinois for a little while, and these people, I don't think they get it. But right now, they have the second highest property taxes in the nation, just barely behind New Jersey, and they may pass up New Jersey in the next few years. And a funny thing is, Allied Van Lines is reporting, huge business booms from people loading up and moving to Indiana and Wisconsin. It's a big boon for them. Again, the people that can afford to move, they're going to move, and the people that don't have the money to get up and get out of there, again, the poor will be hurt. But that's what the left does. They keep the poor right where they are.
Yep, that's true. And the same thing, United Van Lines, you can beef up your operations in Colorado because Magpul's pulling everything out of there, and that's thousands of jobs too. So you deserve it. You really do. I really don't have a. It's kind of like New York City. They're getting ready to get bombarded, and if the majority of people there, vast majority, want socialism and communism, then the rest of you that are there and aren't smart enough to move out, shame on you. Let the place wither and die. That's what's going to happen to Colorado. That's what's going to happen to New York City. Those of us have been around long enough to remember pre-Rudy Giuliani, to remember David Dinkins and all that scum that ran New York City into the ground in the trial run of Cloward and Piven, which is exactly what it was, and John Lindsay and everybody else that ran that place when it went bankrupt. You're getting ready to do it again. So the people that are living there now don't remember those days, but I know that you do, and I sure do. And that place was a cesspool.
It was prostitution, adult entertainment. It was just, a jungle. And, Giuliani cleaned it up, and it's going to be a shame to watch it degrade. But, they get what they vote for.
Well, it's an open air laboratory. We're going to be able to use it as a teaching point, and we will do that over the next few years. Uh, and it's going to be painful if you live there, but some of these are great American institutions being driven down. The latest of which is the Girl Scouts, which followed the Boy Scouts. Uh, don't ever, if anybody out there has little girls and they're in the Girl Scouts, don't ever ask me to buy Girl Scout cookies again. because I'm never buying another box. If they don't clean this nasty organization up, I'm never buying another box. Why don't you tell the viewers what's going on there, Mr. J? It's disgusting.
Yes, the Girl Scouts are promoting Texas gubernatorial candidate who is a pro-abortion advocate, Wendy Davis. Now, I got to tell you, I saw a story last week about the Girl Scouts, and this may require more research. We may have to do more on this. The Girl Scouts dues are going to an organization called WAGS, World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, who in turn support other organizations across the globe that support abortion and other, causes that people have no idea that they're supporting when you buy a box of Girl Scout cookies. So we got to put this outfit under the microscope. The Girl Scouts to me looks like it's been trashed, and the Scout organization is actually firing back. They're putting out all these press releases saying, no, 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 we don't do that, we don't do that. But the money trail shows otherwise. So we're definitely going to have to put this on a microscope.
Yep, we're going to have to look at it for sure. And just so you know, the Wendy Davis had her 2 seconds of fame. She filibustered a Texas state assembly by utilizing a catheter and sitting up there and promoting abortion. They wanted to limit abortion to a certain time, a certain amount of weeks where the baby was considered viable in their eyes. I mean, technically viable. And so she stood against that, and then all the libs went ballistic over her, and that was pretty disgusting. Now, I'll tell you something. I never liked this guy. I know a lot of people did. I never really liked Mike Huckabee. I thought he was a joke from the first time I ever saw him. I don't think he's uh, a serious man. I mean, he might be, and I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings, but what are you going to do? It's my opinion of the guy. I look at him, and he looks like an establishment guy to me, and it's fine. He's religious. That's great. He plays the guitar and everything, but I just could never see him staring down Vladimir Putin, per se. But he jumped on the bandwagon. I'm gonna show you guys something uh, here in a second and let you uh, make up your own mind. This is the latest from Mike Huckabee. I don't know what the technical difficulty is with these videos starting halfway through, but we're going to have to talk to the Spreecast people about that. That's the second time that's happened to me, uh, and I can't go back and play it again. But
What a
anyway,
what a disappointment. There was a lot of Huckabee supporters in my state. A lot of the people that I work with liked the guy because he was, he seemed like he had family values and he kind of marketed them pretty good. But he has really shown his true colors with his flip flop on the Common Core. And now this video, which I had just seen today, thanks to Hutch, um, gosh, this guy has got to go. And I wonder if he's looking to make a presidential bid again.
I
Stay as
don't know.
far away from this guy as you can.
But I'll post just like I did last week. I'll post the video on the website so you can check it out after the show. It basically was Mike Huckabee stumping for uh, Lindsey Grahamnesty. So he totally gave it up. Now Romney did pretty well here. He accepted, and I watched this. He accepted Melissa Harris Perry's apology with style on Fox News Sunday today. And even when Chris Wallace really tried to dig at him and get him to throw some dirt, he wouldn't do it. And that's one thing I do like about Mitt Romney. Uh, but Alec Baldwin's mad, man. Alec Baldwin's mad as hell because uh, he said that if he cried, would he get his job back? I'm thinking this is all turned into a circus.
Oh yeah, Keith Olbermann got his digs in there too. He kind of said the same thing, but they're like, WTF? You fire us over this, and and you let her stay. But I guess that's all it takes at MSNBC is to fake cry on TV, and you get to keep your job. But I suspect this woman will say something stupid again, and eventually she'll have to go. But they've got more replacements. There's plenty of hacks over there that they can stick in her time slot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's part of the race industry. We've pointed that out several times. I mean, that's how she makes her money, other than her MSNBC slot. Now, Fox News is doing well here. I don't know why I'm getting that feedback, but yes, Fox News is the only network that's even close to the truth when it comes to Islam. And if this tape doesn't play, I'm going to be ticked off. But I want you to check this out. It's pretty interesting because you will never hear anything like this on any other network. But check out this compilation of Fox News, this montage, if you will. So that played for the most part. I'll tell you, they're the only ones. Nobody else will even come close to that. And there wasn't the one guy, Bob Beckel. That's the biggest liberal out there.
Yeah, and funny that video was put together by Media Matters, and it was to take a shot at Fox News. But I was watching it, and it's like, man, I agree with everything these guys are saying. And you're right, Bob Beckel is right there in the mix with them.
Yes, sir. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Ladies and gentlemen, your weekly jihad report for 28 December to 3 January. 46 jihad attacks, 11 Allah Akbars, 187 dead bodies, 414 critically injured. Your annual jihad report for the year of our Lord 2013. 2,801 jihad attacks in 51 different countries against 5 religions. 16,710 dead bodies. 29,432 critically injured. The religion of peace, ladies and gentlemen. 29,000 bodies at a time. Pretty tough year, I'll tell you. I don't know what else to say. That kind of stunned even me. When you take that and you aggregate it like that, almost 30,000 people killed. No other religion in the world is like this. This is unacceptable, and Americans ought to start going to jail for supporting this.
I agree, and the president can be right there with them and his cabinet. They're putting these people in place. They're allowing these people to infiltrate our country, and their goal would be to do the same thing here.
Absolutely. Uh, I mean, It's stunning to me that so many people just stand by and watch this. They don't even watch it. They don't even pay attention to it. I mean, since I've been following this, there is so much graphic video evidence of these savages out there that it's inescapable. You have to purposely not look for it if you're any type of an intellectual person. I mean, it's just beyond the pale, and it's nothing new. This is nothing new. This isn't a new phenomenon. They've been going by the playbook forever, for many years, many centuries.
Yeah, if you think about it, somebody says something that somebody doesn't like and it's in the news for a month. 30,000 people are killed by Muslims and it barely registers as a hiccup in the mainstream media. And it's all
Unbelievable.
one
It is
religion doing this, all in the name of Allah.
unreal. Um, Now, this next story, Mr. J, has to do with some political tactics. I think that's what I'm going to get involved with a little bit more. It's something that our enemy does. The left does this and has been doing this for some time. Whenever Republicans do it, they fail because they're not doing it right. A Republican tactic, for instance, would be to go after the moderates, to go after the independents, to go after the people that can't make up their minds. How there's people like that still, I don't know. But I think that's a failed policy because they do that, and every time they do that, more people in the base stay home than they gain by putting your or Mitt Romney's up or your John McCain's up.
I agree, and I'm wondering if the establishment thinks the base is the people that actually vote and not necessarily the true base, the conservatives. I think they're maybe mixing the two up.
Well, they're making a mistake, and you'd think that some of these people are pretty smart. If nothing else, you would think that they would look back on the last several elections and just take that data, and you can see that Republicans stayed home by the millions. I mean, you can see it; it's right there. So one of the things that they like to do is they like to choose our candidates. The left does. They did this with Mitt Romney. They've done it with John McCain several times, Bob Dole. And I think that what Bruce Walker here, man, I got some electronic problems over here. What Bruce Walker is saying is that we should start doing that to them. I mean, they put these candidates, you're already seeing it now with Chris Christie. You're seeing that they're trying to put him out there, and they're saying that maybe the Republicans ought to start doing that too. I mean, I think you could get somebody that would run to the left of Hillary Clinton, like Elizabeth Warren or something, and they're actually saying that we should get into the primaries.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to use some of their tactics because, they have been successful. And I know in Georgia they have an open primary, and they often you hear about. I don't know how prevalent it is, but many people of other parties will go in and try to jack up, a primary just to try to screw up for the Republicans. But it works both ways. But I think you're right. And Chris Christie is being shoved down us by the mainstream media and the establishment. It seems, and they've already all but inaugurated Hillary Clinton. So that tactic of maybe bringing Warren into the picture and maybe causing some headaches for Hillary, that might be a good idea.
Well, I don't know really any serious-minded Republican that wants Christie. I mean, that's the thing that gets me. Do you know anybody that like wears a Christie shirt around? I don't know of one. It's just ridiculous. Now, consider this: 20 states have open primaries in which voters from either political party can cast a ballot in the Democrat presidential primary. The vast majority of these states are much more conservative than the rest of America, and conservative Republican crossover voters could give a conservative Democrat an outright majority of the vote in these primaries. Beyond that, every primary and every caucus state must allow those voters who even nominally register as a Democrat to participate in the delegate selection process. So there's a possibility there to shake some of these races up.
Yeah, and another state, Louisiana, doesn't have primaries. And so it's kind of a bloodbath there, and it could work both ways there as well, where you could, campaign somebody that, you don't think has a chance, but could screw up the leading candidate. And that was one I looked at in an article I wrote on newsninja2012.com, but I digress.
Now this next story is that's something too. Let's cover that real quick. You wrote an article on newsninja2012.com, which we both write for that site, and you broke down several political races uh, very well, I might add. And so go there and check that out. As we get into this campaign season, I think we're going to be doing a lot more of that. I also wrote an article there titled Language as a Weapon that has some different tactics and things that I feel would be effective. So go over there and check out. We just got a whole nother stable of writers. That place is going to be jumping. So make sure you check it out. Now, this next story is it's kind of personal in nature to me. It's as you know, I was involved in the Iraq War. I'm an Iraq War veteran. Um, I came back from Iraq in 2008. When we left Iraq in 2008, when I left Iraq, Fallujah, let me break this down for you. There's big provinces, I forget how many of them in Iraq, but a very large province called Al Anbar province is on the western side of Iraq and shares a border with Syria. I'd have to look at a map, but it has a big, vast border with Syria. And in Al Anbar province is where several of the Sunnis participated in what was called the Awakening, where the Sunnis had had enough of Al Qaeda controlling their neighborhoods and killing their women and their men. And it was just a mess for these people to live there. And in 2004, and there were two battles for Fallujah, but Fallujah was one of the most hard fought battles that the U.S. military fought in Iraq. Um, Now, I'm not talking about Vietnam era casualties, but there was 100 guys that got killed. The Marines had to go in to the city of Fallujah, and this city has, well, they all have cemeteries, but these insurgents decided that they were going to take refuge in these cemeteries there. So they had to go into these cemeteries, and there's all kinds of little vaults and little compartments where people could hide. And these poor guys, man, they had to go in there and just flush them out, house by house, square yard by square yard. It was a hard fight, and we prevailed. God bless the U.S. Marine Corps and all the supporting elements. We prevailed, and not me personally, but the U.S. Marine Corps prevailed. And to see now that Al Qaeda linked force captures Fallujah amid rise in violence in Iraq has got to have some Marines nauseous. I mean, this could have been avoided. We took the unprecedented step. We did the same damn thing in Vietnam. The Democrats did the same thing in Vietnam. They defunded the Vietnam War after our troops were already out. They defunded it. And by 1975, the North Vietnamese army rolled into Saigon because the South Vietnamese, we wouldn't respond to any airstrike requests or anything else. And they did the same thing to Iraq on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
The president left Iraq with the commanding general requesting a certain number of troops to stay there as a force, forced every single one out, no status of forces agreement. I mean, look what we did in Korea. We're still in Korea. We did it in Germany. We do it everywhere we go to make sure the peace that we paid for stays intact. Well, we didn't do that. The Democrats didn't do that, and shame on you. I mean, you might as well say that Iraq is part of Iran now. And now Iran has a free reign There's free airspace over the whole country, which there wouldn't have been if we'd stayed there. And there's free land pass straight through Iraq into Syria. And now Al Qaeda holds a major city. They're also in Ramadi, by the way, which is also in Al Anbar province. But now Al Qaeda controls the border with Syria and Iraq. So very, very well done, Democrats. Thank you very much. 5,000 GIs died for nothing. That's awesome right there. I'm sorry, man. That story pissed me off.
You're exactly right, and I got to tell you, we just lost a war that we already won. It was totally unnecessary, and this is a battle that, now we're going to have to fight again at some point in the future. These people are going to take over the rest of the country, go back to their ways of jihad, and wreak havoc upon that area of the world again. And this is a fight we'll have to relive, and it was so unnecessary. But this president's ego and his ideology got in the way. He screwed the Marine Corps over. Our fighting men and women got screwed over. The taxpayers who funded this got screwed over. The parents of fallen soldiers got screwed over. What a disrespect to them. And, I have to apologize to them for what this government has done to them personally. It's disgusting.
That's right. And like Hayes says, he changed the ROE. That's the rules of engagement. First thing and many times since. Those guys can't, you have to almost see a round coming at you before you can fire. It's something else. But, before we left, there was street lights on every street in Fallujah. We put the most high-tech street lights up. They're solar operated. You don't even need electric. It ticks me off. Let's see if we can get this video to work. So a shame again that you have to see any reporting from an entity other than a major American news network. It's something that's telling all by itself.
Well, that's exactly right. But you know what? The new media is the one that's going to get the word out, and we're going to put those guys out of business. Newsy, I found their channel on Roku. So if anybody has a Roku, you can check out their stuff on there as well.
Yeah, that's a good deal. That was a very special moment for me when I saw uh, Andrew Breitbart. I can't remember the venue. I think it was at, I don't think it was CPAC. It might have been CPAC though. But he basically told ABC News that they were going to be working for him pretty soon. And I totally agree with that. I think that's something that's true. And that's why we come out here as much as we can and try to do what we can and hone our skills a little bit. And we hope you guys enjoy the show. We do. Now, this next video, this is our last of the evening, which I hope this one works because I could not believe this. This got me so excited that I Skyped you with it. and sent it to you just to because I couldn't believe it. This Peter King, I haven't. This guy's melting down. He is just. He's got so much hate in him for Rand Paul, and he is so hell bent on the NSA having unlimited powers that he's losing his mind. I mean, I I'm all for security, but I'm not for security the way they're doing it. I don't trust them, and they've proven themselves to be not worthy of trust. Listen to what Peter King had to say today about Ron Paul or Rand Paul. This is. I hope this plays. Nah, just like somebody from New York City, some politician from New York City, going to tell Kentucky who should be their senator and who's uh, able to be. The guy's nuts. I mean, he's not nuts. He's arrogant.
And he's wrong on so many points that he made in that clip. I mean, we already know that they are listening. James Clapper all but admitted it, not intentionally. We wouldn't do it intentionally. But yeah, we may listen. But, you know, I think I think the time has come to put a stop to this. Finally, they don't have the right to even look at our
No.
numbers. Apparently, I mean, our numbers. If they've got the number, they've got everything they need. Everything's there in the number. You can find out anything you want with the phone number. So, and you and I can do that on the internet if we pay the $20 to find out. I mean, this has to be put to the test in the Supreme Court, I believe. And I don't have a problem with listening to foreign nationals. That doesn't bother me. But under the Constitution, United States citizens are protected.
And he said that he's going around instilling fear in Americans. Americans should have fear.
You're
You
exactly
know, it's the guy's he's of a different era that he needs to retire. New York, do something about that guy. He's more trouble than he's good. We'd be better off having an Anthony Weiner Democrat in that position than having his fat ass in there. I'm sorry, but the guy's worn out his welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder: one of the enemies that is arrayed against us is the entertainment industry, and HBO is a big part of efforts against the right and against the country in general. Starting January 6th, HBO is putting on a documentary about all those poor persecuted Muslims in America. And the thing is, if you go on the show notes at steelcityresistance.blogspot.com, this is show, what is it, 154. If you go to the show notes links page, uh, it'll take you to this story, and there's plenty of corroborating video evidence on here. But the first adult Muslim that you see on camera in the trailer is none other than Dawood Walid, who is the executive director of CARE Michigan, about whom much has been posted here. And the article comes from Bare Naked Islam, another website that I highly recommend. You will immediately recognize the narration as that of the CARE propaganda artist taken directly out of the archives of press releases and videos posted by CARE on nearly a daily basis. And this shows uh, At the essence of the pseudo cries of Islamophobia, a word made up by CARE, uh, from Muslims is that Muslims are unjustly discriminated against. The irony of these claims is that no one is more discriminatory or racist than the Muslim fundamentalist. As a leader of CARE, Dawood represents the Muslim Brotherhood, which has time and time again made its hatred for the Jews known. Dawood himself, now this is somebody that HBO is propping up to put on your television. Dawood himself referred to Jews as those who incurred the wrath of Allah and thinks that Hamas, which calls for the destruction of Israel in its own charter, should be included in peace talks with Israel. They picked up some tweets from Dawood. Did Muhammad order the killing of the Jews? Uh, Somebody asked him that, and then he came back, or no, some other Muslim, Abu Taya, said, yes, he did, and I agree with that. Why, one may ask? Well, isn't treason a sentence to death? And he answers, he didn't order it. Saad bin Mulad ordered that punishment, bro. It was a correct one. So, I mean, you look through this article, Mr. J, and it's HBO is on the wrong end of this. Some of these quotes.
Absolutely, HBO seems to be pushing the envelope, not only with this, but there's some other shows on their network coming up that really push the envelope well past what is acceptable. And it's really a shame that we're so tied to getting some of these cable channels that we don't want. And I personally won't support it, but some people's got these cable packages and they get these channels that they don't have a choice whether they can not get them or not. And this is disgusting.
It truly is. I mean, if you look on if you go to the show notes link, some of the quotes from some of these guys. Uh, but of course, the Muslims must start acting in order to conquer this world. Islam exists only because people fear being murdered if they leave. If they had gotten rid of the apostasy punishment, Islam wouldn't exist today. Opposing apostasy is what kept Islam to this day. That's Yusuf al-Qaradawi, the head of the Muslim Brotherhood and leading scholar of Sunni Islam. So I mean, check it out yourself. It's disgusting. We're not going to pretend it's not there. Now, Detroit had something happen. They hired a new police chief, and this police chief came from Maine, and he realized that like every other person in Maine had a 45 under their coat, and there wasn't any crime there. And he came to Detroit, and there was he had an epiphany when he got there.
Yes, on January 2nd, Detroit Police Chief James Craig said that good community members who have concealed weapons permits deter crime and save lives. Craig admitted he did not have this view when he worked as a police officer in Los Angeles for 28 years because he never got to see concealed carry in action. It takes it takes an act of Congress to get a concealed permit in Los Angeles. But according to Detroit News, when Craig moved from the LAPD to Portland, Maine, where they give out lots of CCWs, he realized that criminals in Maine were hesitant because they knew good Americans were armed.
And I mean, that's just a fact that's been proven over time. And these leftists, the thing about it is they know, but they don't care because that's not their goal. Their goal is not safety. Their goal is control. So I don't know. It's something that it's just a fact. It's like global warming is not true. It's a fact. Suck it up, Buttercup. The truth is going to prevail.
That's right. The facts show that concealed carry lowers crime rate, but and you're right. The politicians know this, but the citizens that live in these urban areas, they're in such a bubble. They think that the whole rest of the country is the wild, wild west, and we're all blowing each other's brains out in flyover country. It's not the case. I mean, that's why so many people move out of the cities, is to get away from the zoo, the jungle, that these people live in. But it is it's a nice epiphany, and it's great when you pull somebody out of that bubble and put them in a different environment. They can see the difference. But if you're stuck in an inner city, you don't see anything else. You don't understand that we're not gunslingers shooting at the OK Corral out here all the time.
And I mean, it's the environment that the left has created. And one thing is guaranteed that the threat of crime is drastically reduced in my life when I got a pistol in my pocket. I mean, it's just the way it is. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that you have to live that way sometimes, but it's better than living like a slave or a sheep, when there's wolves everywhere. A sad story uh, coming out of the bureaucracy. Apparently, there was an 88-year-old World War II vet who cannot afford mandatory repairs to his business, so he gets a penalty. Keith Knudsen, 88, says he's a salt of the earth kind of guy, according to WDAF TV. He also says he has never in his entire life been in trouble with the police, but a cracked brick wall outside his office building in downtown Horton, Kansas, that officials have deemed a public hazard, landed him in jail last month.
Unbelievable. Now, Knudsen says he can't afford the repairs, adding that the city won't show him any leniency, which is fairly disappointing for a person who says he has dedicated most of his life to the town. I was on the planning commission for Horton. I have been the president of the chamber. I have been on the appeals board, he told WDAF TV. The World War II veteran is appealing to the town. The judge in the city to cut him a break on the repairs. He said his jewelry business is dying, and the beauty salon he owns next door is barely keeping him and his wife of 66 years. I went around and tried to get contractors to bid on it and fix it, but no one was interested. The city at one point offered to repair this building for $10,000, saying he could put it towards his taxes, but again, the cost of repairs was too expensive. Now, finally, Knudsen appeared in court December 23rd to tell a judge he could not afford the repairs. He was fined $100 and put in jail, for crying out loud. Put in jail for
somebody in jail. We put people in jail for anything anymore. I mean, and people cheer it. There'll be people standing by and cheering it. We got more people in jail. It's ridiculous, man. It's just something to have the audacity, because the dude's wall was broke. To have the audacity to put him in jail, unbelievable. I mean, I could see like an absentee slumlord type of landlord. If you're putting people in danger with like leaking gas lines and things like that, and people are living in your place, that's a different story. But something like this, it just doesn't make sense.
I've
Now,
never heard of anything like it. I mean, here the city would just find somebody and have them fix it and bill you. I'd never heard of somebody being thrown in jail over it. This is it's very disturbing.
or either close the building. I mean, they could put the building to where it's got a I forget what they call it, condemn the building, something like that. If it's a safety issue, if it's anything other than a safety issue, it shouldn't even be an issue.
I agree.
Now, this next story is a little bit different. You've heard of the knockout game going on, ladies and gentlemen, where a bunch of teens, uh, black teens, seek out non-blacks and try to punch them with one hit. Well, Mr. J, they caught somebody in Brooklyn, and I got a twingle in my throat, so I'm gonna let you take this.
All right. Barry Baldwin, a 35-year-old Brooklyn, New York resident, was arrested by the NYPD Hate Crimes Task Force, whoever knew there was such a thing, for at least 7 alleged knockout attacks. The game has been rampant in the cities throughout the nation, played predominantly by black male teens attempting to knock out unsuspecting victims with a punch to the head or face. The alleged assaults took place between November 9th and December 27th, and all of the reported victims were white women, most of them Jewish.
women. Now, the thing that got me about this story, this guy is 35 years old. There is no excuse of all of the excuses they were making for the little feral pricks running around. There's no excuse for this guy. This guy should get, I don't know how you even, how do you come to a sentence for that? If you just go for assault, that's not enough. I mean, this guy struck terror in people's hearts because of him doing this. He ought to get some kind of terrorist charge.
I agree. I mean, that was a head turner there. 35-year-old man. I mean, that's crazy. He attacked a 78-year-old woman while she was pushing her great granddaughter in a stroller, for crying out loud.
They ought to just shoot this guy. They ought to just take him out back and put a bullet right in his forehead. I mean, there's no hope for a person like that. You're not going to turn this guy around. He's beat us. Can you imagine punching a 78-year-old man even?
Yeah, you're right. He's a waste of flesh. He's 35 years old, and this is what he does for a living. He is of no use to society at all.
No. That's disgusting, man. It really is. Now, for our final story of the evening, and this one, this relationship between Barack and Michelle Obama is bizarre. This can't be a real. I mean, first of all, the country is getting bombarded by Obamacare, and he goes on a 3 week vacation. Wasn't it 3 weeks? Wasn't it like 17 days? I mean, the guy goes to Hawaii. You know, I know command sergeant majors that like get to go there for 4 days, and that's their, big blowout. This dude went there for 17 days at least. And I don't think, has this family ever traveled to and from somewhere together?
It doesn't seem so. We've seen his wife's trips to Spain and Nantucket and other places, and he's not around, but she's out there spending the money. That's for sure.
Oh, she's something else. President Barack Obama and daughters Malia and Sasha left their vacation in Hawaii on Saturday, but left First Lady Michelle Obama behind on the islands. According to news agency reports, the president reportedly let his wife stay on in Hawaii with friends as a birthday present. Michelle Obama will turn 50 years old on January 17th. It's a birthday present whose costs in separate travel and security expenses are likely to be borne in part by taxpayers. On a previous occasion, when Mrs. Obama left for a Hawaii vacation in advance of her husband, the additional cost to the Treasury was estimated to be at least $63,000 and potentially upwards of $100,000. Mrs. Obama's vacations have often been a source of controversy, beginning with a lavish holiday with friends in Spain's Costa del Sol in 2010 and continuing with high-end sojourns in the Bahamas, Martha's Vineyard, and the Maine coast, the latter after urging Americans to vacation in the oil spill-stricken Gulf of Mexico. That's just rich.
I just love the part where it says the president reportedly let his wife stay. Where's the
Yeah.
feminists? Where's the feminists at? I mean, maybe it is a president. Maybe she can't stand him so bad she just assumes stay in Hawaii for a while. But gosh, they blow through our money like they don't give a damn.
Oh, it's true. It's absolutely amazing the way they do that, and it's let them eat cake. It's right out of fairy tales and things like that. Now, just recapping a few of the things from the show, uh, I really got a problem with this Peter King, man. I want to see. He thinks that he's going to run for president and be successful. How he thinks that's right up there with Chris Christie.
That's right. And the way he came out and attacked Rand Paul, I mean, if you look at it, if you look at Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Rand Paul, those guys, they may differ with the establishment, but they don't insult them. They don't go on national TV and insult them. That's what Peter King did here, and it just goes to show you who needs to go. I mean, this guy has no class. There's obviously a purge effort to get get guys like Rand Paul and Mike Lee out of there. I mean, it's painfully obvious, and we, as constituents, we got to reject that, reject Peter King, make him irrelevant because he's not relevant to me anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, and he did the same thing with Ted Cruz. It's Peter King and John McCain. These people that are just they're the stereotype of old codgy Republican men that are destroying the whole image. I mean, it's just something that you're right. I mean, it's classless. That's what it is. It's classless, and it's going to cause damage. Instead of these old guys realizing that if they do this the way they're going to try to do this, that they're going to get defeated either by us or by the Democrats. One, but they're surely going to be defeated if they play this circular firing squad thing. And like I said, it all depends on how much conservatives can bring to the fight. I don't know. We're going to find that out. I wish we didn't have to find it out this way. But if in 2014 this becomes the activity, then I'm engaging in it. I'm not going to withdraw and vote for John McCain or the Peter King. If they're going to bring a fight, I'm going to bring a fight back. And I don't know how much strength we have. I'm hoping that we have a lot, but I wish we didn't have to do this right now.
That's true, but I think I'm seeing some momentum. You brought a group to our attention that is planning some things, and we've got CPAC coming up. I'm hopeful that people will be energized, and that will spread out and grow roots and get people out to the polls and get rid of this cancer that is plaguing the GOP right now.
And it is. It's absolutely plaguing. And I'm a little nervous. I can't wait to go to CPAC, but CPAC is controlled by Grover Norquist, and I know about Grover Norquist, and I know that David Horowitz is not welcome at CPAC because he told me himself a couple weeks ago. And that's the only thing I watch there is the Islamic end of that. Maybe if we can get like Pamela Geller and maybe people uh, to show up and do some. They did some things last year out in the hallway, and they got major coverage. So I'm looking forward to it, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take 90% for a 10% issue over one person. But anyway, Mr. J, it's been great. Why don't we get you to give your information out, and then we'll get on out of here.
All right, buddy. All right, you can find me at Facebook at Chris Ivan or at www.mrjausa.com or MRJAUSA at Facebook, Twitter, and Tea Party Community. Check out my articles on newsninja2012.com. Check out Hutch's articles on newsninja2012.com. Get a great article about the language. You need to read it. And we will catch you next time. I think we're doing FTR radio tonight. But I'll let Hutch answer that, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it.
And thank you. We will now put the Southern Command back on reserve status. And I don't know if I'm on the radio tonight. I guess I better go figure that out. But ladies and gentlemen, I am Hutch Bailey in studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a contributor and backup host on the Wayne Dupree Show. Founder website is steelcityresistance.blogspot.com. And you catch the research room there. If you get in an argument with somebody, there's a lot of good factual material that can help you before you go into that argument. I'm Berg's Eye View on Twitter. You can email the show, scrtv@live.com. Thanks for letting us in to your life for an hour. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. I wasn't really able to interact with you a whole lot tonight. Had a little bit of technical meltdown here, but we decided that the show must go on. So thank you very much. God bless you. And we will catch you next time.